Hey, beautiful souls. I'm Colleen, and this is the Hair Healer Podcast. On my show, my guests and I untangle our web of relationships as children, partners, employees, parents, and strip away the labels that define our identity. On each episode, my guests and I open our souls and start a dialogue in order to span this gap, create a spiritual bond, and cultivate deep interpersonal connections. Hey, everyone, and welcome back to the Hair Healer Podcast. It is Monday morning, and I'm recording episode 8 or 9. I can't even remember. How did it happen already? I can't believe we're here. I am here with a new friend, David Hem, from the Healing Fields Yoga Studio. He's a yoga instructor, owner, so many things. How I first found David was I was working on a client, Kimberly, who's a good friend and a good client, and we're talking about people I need to have in the Philly area for season 2. And she instantly was like, oh my God, I have someone. She's like, there's this really cool dude. He came out and like taught this private yoga class for me. He's super interesting. Just your type of person, your type of flow. And I followed you on Instagram, she said, and I was obsessed with you right away. I was like, oh my God, this guy is amazing. He's my favorite type of person, people who are authentically them, crazy, no matter how it looks. He's got spiritual and he is just flowing through life. So I'm really happy to have David. Welcome, David, to the Hair Healer Studios, of course.
Oh, this is awesome.
How do you feel?
I feel good. I feel great. I rode my scooter here from Philadelphia.
I love that. I know. You're like, I'm going to be bringing my scooter here. I'm like, that is perfect. How fast can you go on that?
Well, technically about like 65.
Okay, so you didn't take 76. Did you take Westchester Pike?
So I hit the GPS and I was like, I took the bike routes because they were going to take me on to like 95 or some type of highway. And I was like, I'm too scared for that right now. I hate doing it on a scooter. I'm just learning. It's like 2 months in on a scooter. And this is the farthest I've ever scooted.
Wow, welcome. I'm excited you did it safely. And I actually have a scooter. The one time I can barely ride a bicycle, but this one time when I was like 18, I dated this guy and he had motorcycles and he was like, try the scooter first. I literally rode it into his garage. Like instead of backwards, I rode it in and never again. I'm just not good with those balance type things. Yeah. So I don't even know where to get started because I feel like I want to know so much about you, know everything about you already, but let's talk. So I got to know him. I followed him on Instagram and then he's like, we're in COVID right now, 2020. And he's just like, I'm just going to like take off in this van and drive around the world, not the world, United States, which is the world right now for us.
Pretty much.
Tell me about that. What got that idea? What did you do? What did you learn about yourself?
Well, so 2 months ago, I had a bit of a breakdown, a little meltdown.
Okay. From COVID or just life?
I think everything started to culminate and just funnel into that moment. And I put it out there on social medias and I got a lot of love. And a student that comes to class, his name is Udo, was like, look, just take my van, go and leave, no charge, just pay the gas. And and he just gave it to me.
Wow.
Yeah. So I went out there for 3.5 weeks. It was amazing.
How did you find where you were going to go? Did you you didn't? This is my dream trip, first of all.
So like, it was like my Fisher Price cross-country trip. You know what I mean? It was like just enough, had a shower and everything. And I was like, so this trip, I decided to go half rowing, half sailing. Like I'll do some research a little bit, but leave a lot of it, half of it to
love that.
Running into people. People suggest things, Google suggests things.
I love that.
Yeah. And then just took it from there.
So I would see you photographed with people. Did you know those people? Did you meet them?
Yeah, well, there was a couple people I knew. So I had a friend just fly out into Utah, and I had a couple friends that was in Utah as well. But the rest were just people I knew, met, and on the road.
Along the way.
Mm-hmm.
So during that time, you're in a time of sort of breakdown, not feeling good,
yes,
like
absolutely.
Stuck in the bullshit, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So did you come out of that with this trip? Did you learn? What did you learn from that? What'd you get from that?
How resourceful I can be, right? How nice people are. Like I was like, oh, if I go to the Midwest, I'm gonna get lynched. Like that was like kind of
is that what?
Yeah, you know what I mean? And like, but this is like goes to show the conditioning of media, and like this says. So one of the spokes of the wheel that I call like to say is like, I'm just gonna be nice as fuck to people.
Yes.
And 98% of the time, I got a great reception back. You know, and the 2%, it was just me being an asshole. You know, it's like I didn't sleep. I was mad as shit. So I was the one being a jerk to the hostess at the hotel. But but the rest of the interactions I had were of high quality, high definition, everything. It just blew me away because like I know I have biases. I know I have like thoughts that are outdated, right?
Yeah.
And that hinders me from reaching the pinnacle or the zenith of who I am. And I wanted to like destroy them. I wanted to like put those ideas to test and then update from that.
Yeah, so did you destroy them? Is there one like a big thing in your head that really got destroyed, that was really there? Some sort of mindset, you know?
I could think of two. One was like just people are just nice if you're nice to them.
Yeah,
you
you realize that.
Yeah, and like, the news would say otherwise. And I was, the other one was like, I can do something like this. I could, like, the obstacles I faced coming back was pretty intense because I fucked up pretty majorly too. And
wait, coming back from the trip?
Coming back, like coming home, and
what were some obstacles? Can you share?
Yeah. One obstacle, I drove the van into the sand in the beach. So some of the roads, like I couldn't tell. It was so beautiful. It was 20-mile beach. I was in I forget where I was, but it was, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna go down there and just like park on the side. You know what I mean? So when I open the door, I have beach. You have
beach.
Like, you know what I mean? Like anywhere you go, that's the cool thing. Is like anywhere you go, that's your yard. You know what I mean? That's your like I was in truck stops and stuff, but like, so I went into the roads and it was all sand. Some were really dense, so you could drive on, but there was some only 4-wheel drive can go on. So I just accidentally just went there and
you got.
And I got stuck.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
You got stuck right in the sand.
I got stuck in the sand.
So what'd you do? There's so many ways you could be stuck in the stand.
So
physically.
Yeah, right.
Physically.
Mentally. I reacted.
What the fuck?
I yelled at myself. I was like, fuck, you know what I mean? Like, and then I took a breath, got it together, Googled tow trucks. I was like, oh, this is gonna be like a 5-hour thing, right? And the sun was going down. And the guy got there. His name was Travis, really cool guy, and he was there. Travis. He was there in 40 minutes. Shout out Travis to getting us out of the sand. And here's another moment because he had like long hair, he had like some missing teeth. He didn't you know what I mean. I didn't think we were gonna get along.
Yeah, bond.
Yeah, but we hugged. You know what I mean. He was like, yeah, I don't care about that shit either. So we hugged, and I was like, thank you so much. And we talked for like a half hour, and he got me out in like 20 minutes, and he only charged me for an hour.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So I was like, I was already on, funds low.
Funds.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But, he, like, I'm glad it just worked out.
It always works out. And I think as someone a former drug addict, right? I'm guessing. Same as myself. We talk a lot about on here. And I think as COVID, I feel like former drug addicts, people who have faced adversity like that are having a much easier time during this because we know what it's to not have anything, to lose things, to your whole life just being like, whoop, up in flames. And then we got to rebuild again. So I feel like we're having an easier time with this than maybe people who haven't fucked up half their life.
Yeah, I love that you say that because I think a rock bottom, it's a gift, what I mean, to like come out of it. Like I got mine.
Yeah, tell us about your rock bottom. I want to hear your story.
So mine, like I just did a background check. So I just started working for like Postmates. You know what I mean? Like and one of the DoorDash did one. They denied me because they showed me my my, what do you call that?
Your record?
Background. Yeah. You know what I mean? I was like, oh shit, I forgot. It was like a felony, and it's like damn. Like you can't. I was like, shit, I forgot. Like, you know what I mean? It doesn't really go away, but that's cool. Anyway. And
I hope one of the hopes for me is that changes in the future, right? We start going off of people's character and changes, not necessarily this thing that defines them in the past.
Absolutely. And I hope that my life could be a testament into that direction because like.
So far it is. So who were you before you were the Healing Fields? Who was Messy David?
Junkie David.
Junkie David.
So, Yeah, I think like everybody, 15 started at the weed,
Yeah.
got into pills, pills got too expensive, went to dope.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Dope, crack, Xanax, and like you had that healthy cocktail.
Yeah.
And stuff. It was crazy, you know what I mean? And like you get,
You just live life in this sort of, you're not living, but you're not dying either. You're just in limbo.
Yeah, just trying to get one more. Most of the time it was just me trying to get one bag. You know what I mean? With like $8.
Yes.
Having to
Yes.
walk. You know what I mean? Just try to negotiate with the dealer and stuff. But just getting by, that's when it started getting to, really crazy. Then I checked into a methadone clinic. Had some, yeah.
He's been there.
Yep, been there.
No, the community there is it's very interesting. It's very interesting. But I was like, I wanted to get help, so I said BHSI. Let me get a detox. I didn't qualify for any of that, but it was like, you know what you are good for? Methadone. You know what I mean? It's like,
And that's a mess.
Yeah, it's like handcuffs, liquid handcuffs they call it. You got to really be invested in getting out of it, like to endure. Because I was in there for like 3.5 years, including my jail time. So I was in jail for like 13 months. So they was dosing me while I was in jail.
Okay. The whole time.
Yeah. So I was like, oh shit, you know what I mean? Like it's like because you got high pretty much in jail and stuff, and they made it a little more. And I was on a drug block too.
Okay.
Stuff, you know what I mean? So it was an interesting crowd. I wasn't like really that scared and stuff.
Just like every time I went to an institution, you're always institutionalized with the drug addicts. Not like the actual, and people with severe, not to say that we didn't have severe mental illness, but they put us all somewhere.
Yeah, they put us somewhere.
They group us up.
So the methadone clinic, I met a girl.
Of course.
And she took me kind of like under her, what do you call that?
Wing?
Apprentice. And and we dated for a little bit, and I found out she was a prostitute on the low. Right?
Oh, she didn't give you that up front?
She didn't give it to me up front, no. But what she would do when we would go out, like she was like, oh, I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna act like I'm gonna go suck his dick, but I'm gonna rob him, right? So I'm like, okay, all right, that sounds good. You're not gonna do it, right? You're not gonna really suck his dick, right?
You're just gonna rob him for the money.
I was like, okay, I'll wait. And I'm just like waiting in the cemetery, waiting for her to get done. But the whole time she was just turning tricks.
Wow.
But she was getting as high. So I was like, what was the thinking at the time? You know what I mean?
It's interesting to go there because there is, when you are getting high, when you're trying to get another one, you don't care.
No.
You do not care.
Yeah. Morals are out the window.
Out the window. Nothing. It's just about getting one more, which I also feel like makes us amazing manifestors. Because we know we would do anything to get one more. Yeah. Absolutely one more. And we'll stop at nothing.
Pretty much. Yeah. Yeah. I got to a point where I was like jumping over 7-Eleven counters, taking prepaid phones. Remember prepaid phones?
Yeah.
So jumping off of prepaid phones and stuff. And so how I ended up in jail was I was hanging out with this girl.
The girl, the prostitute.
The prostitute,
okay.
Yes. And she was like mad at me, like, you're not picking up your weight. You haven't been getting anything. So meantime, I was like forging my dad's checks, right? Going to the cash check place. And they cleared them out. And this one day I was like, all right, I'm going to rob a store, right? Because I was already sick. And I figured there was a Rite Aid and there was this corner store in my neighborhood. And I decided to go with the corner store. I didn't have a gun, right? I didn't have anything like that. So I remember suiting up all black.
Did you write a note?
No. I got all black, and I got to the store, and I found this stick, and it was like about a foot, and it was like cylinder. It was like smooth and stuff. So I was like, put it under the jacket.
So you were like a ninja.
Yeah. I go in the store, and I'm like, my mask falls off as I go into the store. So because I just tied this thing like loosely around it was a thermo. It was actually like a black thermo, and it just fell off. I was coming in, and I was like, I wasn't very sure of myself. I was like, give me the money, right? And then like,
wait, it fell off.
My face was
this
fully
had to have
exposed.
been during Mercury retrograde.
It was late November. It was very cold, and her grandson, I think it was crying in the back. she's like, and she throws $4 or $5 bills at me. And I get it. I'm like, yes, that's 2 bags, right? And then and I just grab it and I run. And then she throws like this cookie sheet that was like right there on the counter and hits me in the back of my head. Like, so I stumble down the stairs, right? And then I start booking it. And then this gold Chevy Suburban, I think it is, was trying to follow me. I guess he saw, you know what I mean? So I lost him behind Alany High School, and I waited there for like 10 minutes, right? It was really dark and cold. Nothing was out, and then like I heard a lot of cop cars. Then I leave the high school, and I start moving up towards the boulevard. And I was like, if I just get past the boulevard, I'm gonna be okay, right? and I'm a block away on Albanus, and this K9 Jeep just pulls in. And it's like, whoop, and it's like, hey, hits me with the light, and I start booking down Albanus. So it's trash day, right? And so I make it to the middle of the street, and I see this light blue Rubbermaid trash can, and I'm like, I'm gonna hide inside that. So I take it, I empty out the trash, and I put it over myself, right? Sorry about that. And I put it over myself, and it doesn't fit, right? And I had these light blue Ken Griffey sneakers on, right? And they just stood out, and just the trash was on me. So I'm in like in a leaning tower of Pisa, and I'm just kind of moving, just like just trying to shimmy, and you can just hear this car coming. I look like a real ghetto R2D2. And then I was like in that that desperation. The desperation. That was like my best form of thinking. And I'm in this smelly ass trash can. The cop car comes, and then you hear the radio, and you hear him say, "Do you see this asshole?" Right? And then they kick it, and then they just go to work on me. They just like start pounding me. I was bleeding and all crazy. There was a ton of cop cars, right? And because they thought I was armed, so it was like and they were making slurs at me. They were making fun of me, and I was just bleeding on my face. And this one cop like took mercy. He must have been a rookie or something, but he just like took me to the side. Was like, "You all right?" And he asked, you know what I mean? And he put me in a car. And the rest is history from there.
So you got arrested for robbery? Even though you had a
felony.
Stick? Yeah. You got a felony robbery?
I had to show them the stick too. Like, you know what I mean? But there was like intent to do harm or something like that. So it was like assault up there. Like, yeah, it's pretty deep charge there. And so I got a felony. And now I think about it, that was like more of a rescue.
Yeah,
right?
that was a rescue.
I was out there like some rabid
Just how old were you at the time? How long have you been using? And how long were you?
So at 15.
How bad was it?
15 is where I started, and it got really bad. When my mother passed, and it just kind of like went even further. And it's like 11 years ago, 12 years ago. And it was just, when it started getting intravenous.
Yes. No hope. No.
Shooting.
So did you get clean then from that? So the dumpster
Oh no, I went to jail.
I
went to jail. I went to jail, and I got dosed. I got methadone, and so I did about 13 months. Went back to the clinic, and then that's when I started to I need to do something, and I started doing NA.
You did?
They gave me the sheet, and it was like, you get the sheet filled out.
How'd you feel? How was that? Like, how did you know that was that moment of powerlessness or whatever? Of like, okay, I really need help, and I really want to stop this, and I just don't want to fucking do this anymore.
Yeah, that
Did it come over time?
It was like
it solid?
It was like heavy hits every day because the quarantine part, of like going into the county, getting naked, showering, and like squatting and like coughing. You know what I mean? Just like that intrusion, and like
it was like, holy shit.
Yeah, and like my first night in county, like this guy didn't like me. He just and he just fucking with me and shit. And like, I mean, I'm not much of a scrapper and stuff like that. But I was just beaten. And like I had to go through withdrawal for the first 2 weeks before the methadone got to me. So I went through this whole, this whole withdrawal thing.
It's horrible.
With some guy that don't like, you know what I mean? And
oh my God. It's a nightmare.
Yeah.
You needed that. You needed that. That's hell on earth.
I needed that so much. And especially even at the precinct, when they took me to the precinct, it was really cold, and they were just like, they were just hosing down the cells, and you would just be in there in this wet cell, and like it was just crazy. Never, had no one to call. My dad wouldn't bail me. My dad, my dad wanted to bail me out, but fortunately, my stepmother was like, "Don't, let him stay in there." Which was because if I got out again,
you would have been.
I would have just kept doing it, and who knows where the next.
You'd probably be dead.
I'd probably be dead.
Did you have any like throughout your times of using? Was there any glimpses of like spirituality, healing? Like this is what I want to hear, or was it just all?
Yeah,
do you have any beliefs?
There was always that part of me that was like, this ain't it. You gotta stop. You know what I mean? Just chill, and you just couldn't. And because even before all of that, the drugs, I was into karate, into meditation and stuff like that, movement,
the movement,
dancing, and yeah. But now it's like it's a different vibe.
It's a different vibe. So you went to the rooms and life took off.
Yeah. So I started going to the rooms.
Was it easy to stop using drugs for you?
Well, because the methadone helped too,
yeah.
Right? The methadone was this kind of like because I was up at 180 milligrams at once. Oof. Yeah, I was up there. And then I slowly went all the way down to 0.5. It took about another year. After I got out of jail, it took about another year and a half while going, like kind of like passing the baton to the rooms of recovery.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that community, I'm sure you know, man, it's like, it's hard to survive. You're not going to, like people, they're still trying to figure ways to get high. They're selling Catapress and they're selling their bus pass. You know what I mean? It's like the whole, and it was tough. And I was the second one out of that methadone clinic to actually leave and graduate that way. And they've been around for like 5 years. Yeah.
That's huge. I just know I was never on methadone. He was, but I just, for instance, would drive people to the methadone clinic and they would just, you know what I mean? They were always getting high on Xan, so I could go get them to go get Xannies or, to trade or whatever. Like so it's very true. There really wasn't, there's a lot of status. So that's huge. Mm-hmm. That's huge for you because really I've never really heard of someone who graduated from methadone.
Never. Yeah. Never heard. Right. You get take homes. You're like, oh shit, I could just keep doing this. And it's like the pivotal, like for the other person I graduated too was she went to the rooms. Right.
Yeah.
And like, it was not a lot of people went into those rooms and stayed, but I was doing it like, I was all about it. The first time I went to a meeting and they gave me a hug.
You loved it?
I loved it. Yeah. Mike Durkin, shout out to Mike for giving me that hug at Castor and Pratt. And because, Asian family, no, it wasn't like that.
What was it like in an Asian family?
Hugs, physical touch, affection, expressing love. So
that wasn't there.
No, that wasn't there.
Is that pretty common in Asian culture?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I mean, it's not like they're like not loving, right? You know what I mean? But it's a different form. Are
generations like you and cousins younger like kind of changing that?
I hope to. I mean,
you're very like hugging,
I'm all about it, and like I want to like that's one of my missions is to break some cycles because if I think about generations of like inherited trauma. From the killing fields and like whole genocide stuff and like even before all of that, I hope to break that cycle.
You are. You are doing it.
Yeah.
You are. Mm-hmm. So, what did you learn about yourself when you got clean? What was life like then? You get clean and all of a sudden it's like brand new. I got the whole world ahead of me.
Yeah. I mean, like when I went to an NA dance.
I remember first NA.
Like I let loose so much and it was so fun. It was like 3 hours of dancing and not a drink involved. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh shit, this is I can still do this.
And have fun.
And you know what I mean? And have fun.
Yeah.
And that definitely helped with everything. And then I got into service. I was doing like 2 meetings a day. You know what I mean?
Oh wow. You jumped right in.
Yeah, I had nothing but time and like I was lonely and I just wanted community. I knew I needed that, and it definitely helped.
And they took you in, raised you, loved you,
raised me. Yeah. It's like
same with me, same with him.
Raised by wolves,
Wait. Now, whenever you got clean, and I know it's like so then we're always searching to fill the void, and hopefully spiritual ways, not sex and drug and all the other ways you like to when you get clean. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So what was that easy for you? Were you like, okay, or were you still, you got clean and things are good? Were you like, something's missing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Something's missing.
Yeah, I was like, I got a job working at the deli.
Nice.
And a shopping bag. Shout out to shopping bag. Mayfair. And, just getting job. Then after that, I got to a factory and stuff like that. And, wait, what was the question again?
Just like what was your, like, when you were Get Clean, right? When were you knew you still needed to keep pursuing the spirituality, keep filling your cup?
Yeah. It's like when I went to the art museum, a Unity event, and I saw yoga being practiced around all this art and stuff. I was like, I'm an artist. I like to move, and it was like perfect, and like.
And you had never before done yoga, really?
Nope. I always wanted to, though, back in high school. But then I remember my boys were like clowning me, and so I just suppressed the shit out of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they call me, yo, you're gay, you a bitch. You know what I mean? It's like, no, give me a shot then. You know what I mean? It's like just trying to.
And look at you now, breaking down all those.
Breaking it all down, man. Yeah, breaking it all down. And
stereotypes. So stupid. Yes.
It's like, it's just so much. It plays a part in your development, and you don't have any control over. And especially back then, I was like, "Yo, you need to take a breath." I didn't have those tools. Like, you should really do your own reflection and see. You know what I mean? Like, I'm being authentic. Like, I didn't know what that meant at the time, and that it just spoke to me. Then I went the next week and I practiced this teacher. Her name is Liana. Shout out Liana. She's in Colorado now.
Hey, Liana. Did you see her on your trip?
I saw her on a trip.
So she was your first teacher?
She was my first teacher still. And like, she's like my spiritual advisor.
Yeah.
And she lives in Colorado. And she came in, she was wearing all green. She had like this green scarf, just glid into the room. I just remember being like super infatuated with her. And like the way she walked, it wasn't like clomp, clomp, clomp. It was like she used her core and she like glid into the room, right? And I was like, I want that, and I wanted to love her too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was like, and then I followed her to Dhyana Yoga. Got me.
Were you good? Were you a natural at yoga?
I was fairly strong because I was doing the Planet Fitness. You know what I mean? So that's what happened before. Like I was going to the gyms. You know what I mean? I was being like. I was in the mirror, like, you know what I mean, flexing it, you know what I mean, taking my 6-pack pics and stuff. But it wasn't doing it. I was still feeling like empty. I was still feeling like this ain't working. And then finally, the yoga practice. I followed her to Dhyana Yoga. Shout out to Dhyana. I got a new student pass it was a 2-week student pass for $20.
Oh.
And then my friend Howard was like, "Yo, why don't you ask about energy exchange, right? You could work, clean mats, clean the room in exchange for classes."
Oh.
Yeah. And then I did it. I got it. A few months after that, I met the owner, and then she gave me a job the next day. She was like, "Why don't you become staff?" A few months later, I became the manager at the studio. And then right before they went to Italy, they offered me a scholarship for teacher training.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so this was like all in a matter of like maybe
6 months?
No, 3 years.
3 years.
3.5 years of practicing. And and then I became a yoga teacher at 33. And I'm 38 now.
And they paid for it? They did?
Yeah, it was all like, that's when I knew this was it. This was in alignment because it was free. All of it was mostly free. At least not financially, you know what I mean? Like, it just made, so I didn't want to go back to what I was like the deli or like the factory, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was still, and I was a plumber too, right before I made the leap. Right before I made the leap to yoga teacher full time, I was at the factory and I was doing plumbing and yoga. So I had to make a decision, but I weaned off. And then so I started teaching 2 weeks before I graduated. So,
really?
Yeah. So she saw something in me. She was like, "Yo, you got it. You got the it factor." And I just trusted her. And before you know it, I was teaching like 25 classes a week.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
I just came out rookie of the year and just really shined. And I was like, damn, this fits in who I am.
And you just knew right there, found like your purpose in a way, your purpose.
Yeah. Yeah. I knew it was like, it was something, but it wasn't solidified yet because I still suffer from imposter syndrome. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
especially like from the shit that I've done. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like, how you gonna tell people how to like develop and shit like
And
that?
align their lives
yeah.
with their body and
Mhm.
soul.
But it wasn't for like a year ago when I was like, yo, I'm a teacher. I could do this shit.
You finally,
Yeah,
like,
you know what
when
I mean?
was that moment that you finally felt comfortable, not in your imposter syndrome,
Yeah.
just comfortable?
Yeah, about a year ago. And I don't remember the exact moment and stuff, but it was like I just knew that I'm good at what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like the evidence was clear, you know, some of the, like when I look at, because, you know, you got to accumulate some of that evidence to override that idea of like, yo, I don't deserve this. And like people are like, yo, you're great. Here's some money. Here's a card. Here's a letter saying all these cool, lovely things. You know, they say 10 people say you got a tail, you know?
I like that. I never heard that, but I like that.
I learned that from the rooms as well. Shout out to Brian.
Hey, Brian, shout out.
It sounds like this entire thing's been a spiritual awakening for you, right?
Hell yeah. You know, and like, you know, great point, because I feel like all of it is, you know what I mean? At some point, when you start to implement awareness and just yoga, and you start to see, because like at 5 years ago, or even 8 years ago, it's like, man, fuck my addiction. It fucked me up. But now I can't even dare speak those words because I'm in a great place.
Grateful
right?
for it.
You know what I mean? Because if not for the rock bottom, if not for that plight, I wouldn't be the teacher I am today. And I think that's what separates me from a lot of other teachers. You know?
Yeah, and it's the experience. People know automatically when they see you, just your energy. You're not going to judge them. You know what I mean? You've done everything. You've experienced everything. And so you just have this welcoming for all and everyone.
All that judging goes inside my head, though.
I know, we do.
Not vocally. But then I just see, like, that's not me. It's just,
Yeah.
This is the asshole.
Yep. And we learn to separate one or the other. So how did the Healing Fields Yoga Studio come about? When was that? When we were like, okay, shit, I'm going to open. Did you just open it and then COVID hit?
About a year ago on May last of 2019. And so I was teaching for Dhyana Yoga, and they had a space in Northern Liberties, you know, and she was like, do you want to own it? Right?
Wow.
She's like, you want to buy it out? You know what I mean? Because they didn't want it anymore. They had like 2 more years left on the lease. So I was like, I'll give it a try. And never wanted to.
You never wanted to?
I don't want to be, I always made fun of studio owners. And but it's like,
but here you are.
But here I am. You know what I mean? It's kind of like. It's
poetic justice?
Absolutely. And I gave it a shot. I put out a GoFundMe. Money got in there like within 3 days, which was like, all right, you should do this. More evidence to be like, yeah, this is right. And I gave it a shot, ran it the way I wanted to run it. And, you know, it's like the name Healing Fields is it's an opposite of the killing fields. You know what I mean?
So that's where that came from.
Yeah. So, you know, I'm hoping to try to, you know, that stigma that's kind of like Cambodia it's not really known for a lot of things.
Are you from Cambodia?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's like they got damn near wiped out in 79. So they had to rebuild. And I wanted to like one day eventually have a Healing Fields there and help try to reverse the stigma and like help heal the country.
Wow, that's really beautiful. So did you know right away when you opened this yoga studio, that's what you wanted to call it? So you already like the Healing Fields.
The Healing Fields.
And how'd it go when you started opening it?
It was great. You know, it's like, and I was still teaching at other places. It was going really well. And like right before COVID hit, BC, right? And
BC.
like we was feeling it, right? Feeling the classes, and like it, you know, it took a stop, and then that stopped.
And then, so what happened with a new owner, COVID? What the fuck happened in your mind? Everything.
Yeah, new owner, and I was like, you know, I'm gonna be all right, right?
Yeah.
Because like I was doing my own research too. You know what I mean? I wasn't just outsourcing my reality to what's going like to the media and everything. And this is where things started to get a little more challenging, because I felt like the minority in ways of thinking.
You did?
Yeah.
In what ways?
Yeah, because I was just like, you know, this shit is not like, I just, you know, the first few months I'm like, all right, yeah, let's listen to them. I'll figure out a new way, a new formula to teach classes. And then I was like,
did you do the Zoom?
I did for like a week.
Did you hate?
I hate it. I was like, no.
I know.
And it was like, this is not what I do. This is not how, like, it wasn't.
It's not you.
It wasn't with my heart, and I had to follow my heart on that. And yeah. Well, what were we talking about again?
So you just we're talking about following your heart and the difference, like how you felt about what had happened.
Yeah.
Difference from what other people think.
Hence my breakdown, because it's like, I was feeling a certain way. And
what happened with the breakdown? Just feeling like.
Yeah, because, the mask thing, it's, I don't know, like it bothered me.
I know.
You know what I mean?
Well, it changes everything. And if you're an intuitive person, you're used to looking at the lips to see how that person's. Yeah. For me, I like to engage and know when I'm talking what they're thinking.
Yeah.
And it throws everything off.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's number one.
Psychologically, only a small percentage is the words we speak to communicate, right? The rest is body language and tone.
I like to think it's the difference between a phone call and a text. Like you can't really tell over a text the feeling that you have. And the same way, like people don't notice that when you're in person, you get this energy exchange.
Absolutely,
as well, right?
man. That was my niche. I was really good at presence and reading people and their bodies and stuff. And I tried it. I definitely tried it. And I probably would have been a little more successful now if I didn't. If I did just continue with that route. But the jury's still out.
This is just part of the journey of the yoga studio. It's going to go a million different places from here.
Hell yeah. Oh yeah.
A million different places. So really your trip was about going out and finding connection again.
Yep. Going out, connection, and being a student again.
Being a student
again, because I was caught up in full-time teaching. I miss going to a studio, filling out a new student form. You know what I mean? Yeah. Being all weird and
not knowing where to go and just looking.
Exactly. And like flexing, doing a handstand and like showing my skills and stuff, and
I can't. I wish I could. I cannot do a handstand. I can't, but maybe one day.
We'll get there.
One day.
We'll work on it.
Okay, good. I'm going to come take a yoga class.
Yeah.
So what are you doing now with the yoga studio?
So I have, so right now I'm teaching in 3 locations. I have my studio where I do like small classes, and I have
private,
privates as well. I'm doing privates as well. Warehouse on Watts. It's like a venue in Philadelphia, which is the owner is my landlord.
Oh,
and he's like, yo, just use my space. Don't worry about rent. Just make sure you pay your rent. You know what I mean?
Just that's pretty cool. No one do that.
It's such a good dude. One of the last few independent venues too in Philly, and
wow.
And I also
what's it called?
Warehouse on Watts.
Warehouse on Watts.
You can find on Wow Philly on the social medias.
Okay.
And I also teach at this outdoor spot. It has all these cool art pieces and stuff, but it's getting cold.
It's getting cold.
I mean? Yeah. So,
what are you gonna? Are you excited for the winter? I mean, this will be coming out in winter, so we'll see.
Yeah, I am.
I'll be listening to it, wondering.
Winter's my shine time. I love that. Like winter's I love it.
I actually do love winter too. I feel that life is so busy, so the only time I really can be inward and actually really focus on myself and have not that much to do but that is like January, February.
Yeah.
So I try to appreciate it instead of being like, I'm so sad, the descent into darkness.
No, that's trending too, man. People love that winter blues, man.
Yeah, the winter blues, the winter. So what are you taking it in? What's the goal with the yoga studio now? Have you rewrote anything? Just going with the flow? Just changed anything from COVID with it? It's my belief. I think in my belief that things are going to chill out after elections. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think this is kind of like.
Well, now we'll find out. We'll either be like, fuck you, David, you're wrong, or you're so right.
Or we'll be dead.
Yeah, you know what I mean? On the verge of the apocalypse, right?
Yeah.
But that's the thing. It's like trusting my own intuition when this whole thing started has been proven, I've been proven right in a lot of things and stuff, you know what I mean?
Wow. You just said exactly, because what I have done from the beginning of this is just trust my intuition, which is hard. Going from I've always was told or taught not to trust in it. And this was a lot of trusting in it. And each thing it keeps revealing, right?
Yeah, right. And which speaks volumes, because it's like all the coverage is saying certain things and you're like, I don't feel that. That doesn't feel accurate to me. And then you just go with it, while respecting other people and stuff, and see what happens.
that's exactly how I felt and what I went about. I mean, I kind of felt not that I was discounting that COVID was not there. It's there, but I felt it was we needed change. It was a universal change so we could all have change collectively, separately. And it just, and then the world needed change. And we forget there's this great destruction, this tear down that's ugly and hideous before the change actually can take place. Right? The change is happening in this, and then the great change, the great awakening is having that. So I sort of felt for me, I mean, as former drug addicts, right? I don't ever fucking follow the rules. I don't know how to follow the rules. My life since the day I was born. You know what I mean? Since the day I was born, I don't know how to follow a rule. But I try to respect, but at the same time, I kind of just always looked at it as like, holy shit, this is our awakening. This is healers' time to rise. This is our time to rise and learn to do. So it kind of the same thing. I thought. I have clients and they're all in sort of one world, and I would in between each world be like, I just like everything they're saying and the way they're living just doesn't seem what's really happening right now, And so far, 7 months in, the universe has been proving my intuition right. Same with you, not what's going on with COVID, but just personally how it's really playing out. And really, what do you think was during this time the most profound thing you ever found out about yourself?
But trusting your intuition is that's something not to gloss over. Like I really trusting yourself. You know what I mean?
How'd you learn to trust yourself from a drug addict? Because we
yeah, I know. So it's like I used to live with someone, a partner at the time, and she went away on a big trip, and I just felt something was off. Right? I felt like something was off, and like saw her IG stories. There was like another guy in there. I was like, oh, okay.
Oh no.
You know what I mean?
You were living with her?
Yeah, we were together. And and I was like, yo, let's talk. I feel something. I want to address it. And I asked her, like, yo, what's up? Did you fuck with someone out there? And it took about like 30 seconds. And she told me, yeah. You know what I mean? And I could see how painful it was for her to say yes, because, we love each other. And I was upset, sure, but like the next day I processed it, and like she gave me the gift of trusting my intuition.
Wow.
Like so many partners were like, nah, you crazy, Dave. You're insecure, Dave. And it's like, but finally having a partner at the time was like, yeah, and like, they say the truth will set you free. Yeah. But first it'll piss you off.
Yeah.
But then you could suffer in that direction. Honorably, right? Instead of like suffering out of just this fantasy of inaccuracy and like, and like so many other partners have done. And and
so that was like the first time you were like, oh, I'm right. I can actually believe what I'm feeling. It's not this distorted dystopia or whatever.
And it was the first time where it felt like it was systematic too, because I felt my body was feeling a certain way. My thoughts were in alignment. And like it just felt different. It was like not a language, it was more of a sensatory type deal.
Yeah, the sensatory, the feeling, the intuition. So now it's much easier for you to follow your intuition.
Absolutely, I'll do it all the time, because now I could, if I am wrong, which I have been, I have the tools to implement to get through it. So there's like really no wrong or failures now anymore, because I think I get caught up in the resistance of what do you call that? Indecisiveness, right?
Yeah.
I'm always trying to, but I just pick one and go for it. The one that feels more in line with myself, I go for it. And whatever happens, I'll learn from it. And like
every time.
Yep. So once you go to that place of like, there's no failure then no more. That becomes not a thing.
So for COVID, your intuition has just been lighting up, right? And you've been believing it, lighting up again, believing it, confirmation, lighting up.
Confirmation. Yep. So many confirmations. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. That's really cool. So where are you at today in your life now, this weekend, this moment?
This moment, I'm feeling, like optimistic. Maybe about 71%.
71.
That's kind of my new thing, where I put things in percentages in like or a pie chart, because I don't think anything I do is based on one thing, right?
Yeah.
So there's some ego, there's some vanity, there's some kindness, there's some love in there. It's like, and it's constantly shifting too, moment to moment. And so I'm definitely feeling a lot more optimistic because coming back, I didn't have a plan yet. I didn't integrate the trip yet, but now it's starting to come into place. And I'm just going with the intuition, you know?
Intuition.
Intuition.
I'm going to start saying that now. Intuition.
Never heard that.
Yeah, good.
I love that.
I think I like putting IES on everything now because it just makes things like if it was
a little more fun, flirty, exciting.
like traumies.
A little bit easier to talk about the traumas.
Yeah, the
traumas.
You gotta do.
Do you have any traumas right now that are coming up? Any trauma reactions? Anything from your pet that still haunts you to this day?
There's still that self-degradation that kind of like lingers a little bit that I'm not good enough, you know. But it's usually because I'm not sleeping.
Yes.
If I'm not eating.
Yes.
You know, it's like the physical state. If I'm not resting and I'm in water, if I'm not drinking enough water, I become this kind of troll.
Yeah.
And if I'm not resting, it's just the perfect storm.
Especially for rest.
Yeah, you know, I think a lot of my issues can be resolved by water and rest.
Waties and resties.
Waties and resties.
So usually they only come out to play your feeling. You know, you've healed a lot of them. They only come out to play when you're not feeling good.
Yeah, I mean, they're still accurate. There's still like it's like a compass, and there's still like, you know, like a GPS guiding me and stuff. And
do you do positive affirmations?
I do the, you know, I am strong, I am intelligent, I am
how
worthy.
do you talk yourself out of it? Because I think probably 80% of listeners right now have the imposter or feel like they're not good enough in one way or another. Like, I know for me, it's a lot of that, the affirmations. What do you do to pull yourself out of that rabbit hole when you're like, oh, I'm not doing anything. I'm not going anywhere. I'm a loser. I'm this, that, you know?
Violently masturbate.
That actually works. I mean, there's a lot to that too.
Yeah, maybe not so violent, but like, but yo, there's something to it. Because now even that, you know, has shifted in perception. You know what I mean? Because it's not like this Neanderthal way. It's like there's a way of doing it intentionally and spiritually too. You know what I mean? It's like manifesting. I've used masturbation to manifest too.
It's amazing.
Because if you think, right? Because when you do get into those climatic spots, like you're in the best vibratory field possible.
You are.
And then you just like, give me $100,000 or something. You know what I mean?
It's so true. There's a lot. There's so much to that. I mean, there's evidence. There's someone I follow on Instagram, Cosmic Sexuality. I can't remember her name, but she does a ton of books and a ton of this, not just like retaining your you know, your sperm, not all just different kinds, just to not only for spiritual purposes, but to manifest, to create happier things, you know, because there is a lot when we're constantly, I don't know how I took this turn at the end of the Hair Healer podcast, but where we're constantly, you know, squirting it all out. We're losing it. That's actually that's a huge source that should be held inside.
Right. It's like nuclear energy.
It's nuclear energy.
It's creative force. I mean, literally.
It is.
You make life with that shit. You know what I mean?
So you can also create whatever world you want to also. Houses, cars, use your cum for all of that.
Yeah. You know, it's like
there's that clarity.
Yeah, you know what? And I had to like reduce the porn stuff. You know what I mean? Because you can't do it with that. You know what I mean? If I can't, you know what I mean? So it had to come from a more pure place.
And don't you think, and I actually had this same conversation on my very first episode ever, okay, about porn. I love porn stars, love porn. There's nothing wrong with that. But I've known some people in the porn industry, and again, I'm not saying all of them have this, but they had a lot of pain, a lot of trauma. And currently, while in that, I'm like, not only are you masturbating to that image, but do you think you're taking on that energy that they have also?
Yeah, totally. Like, you know, it's like those like cows and pigs that are getting like in like really fucked up situations, and they're like, you inherit that when you eat them. You know what I mean?
Oh, shut up. We literally talked about that with David Wurtzel. His name's David on the first episode. We talked about, I'm like 70% vegan. So when you eat meat, like, are you taking on the animal's energy too? Because most of them are not very good. They're not very happy animals.
Yeah. I mean, I wish I could find a way to prove that, you know, but I guess it's, you know, like, you know, if I feel that too, you know what I mean? It's like, but that's just one of those things you can't really, I mean, I guess we can if we try. David,
this has been such a good episode. We're getting to the end of our episode already. Now, I like to ask a few questions, okay? The first question is, all right, what is the best piece of advice anyone's ever given you?
Best piece of advice that anybody has ever given to me. You know, trust yourself, you know, and like, if you're just like, yo, you know, like being, say, like I'm into being cool, right? That's kind of like my way of doing things.
You're cool.
You know, and like, but well, I don't really know how to speak this on, but like, um, yeah, yeah, just to trust yourself, just to trust myself, and like, the more you do it, it's like a bicep curl. You know what I mean? And like, you get better at it, and you know, and it becomes habitual.
Comes
Like,
habitual.
yeah, when it becomes second nature, and you're not even trying anymore
You're
to
not
trust
questioning.
yourself. Yeah, you're not questioning yourself. Like the level of freedom in that,
Wow.
you know, it's out of this world, because there's something called the final run in like the spiritual practice. David Hawkins talks about it, and it's like where everything is not a practice anymore. It's just something you are,
Wow.
you know, and then that's like meta, and like it's like falling asleep. You don't catch yourself fall asleep. You're just there. You're asleep. You wake up. You just wake
Yeah.
up, and that's what I've been feeling like lately. By trusting myself, you know, and it's
Yeah.
becoming a lot more easier to do it.
Good.
Mhm.
That's huge. Now, if you could go back to little David, right? Young
Yeah.
little David,
Yeah.
and you could go nurture him, talk to him.
Uh-huh.
What would you say to him?
I would hug him first.
Big hug. You're a good hugger too.
Thanks. I have a lot of practice. It's habitual.
Yeah, it is habitual.
You know, it's a good question, because like I don't know if I would tell him much of anything, like not to look out for this, not to look out for that, because like what I went through, it's what I went through, and it was perfect the way it was. You know, I would tell myself not to try so much,
Mm.
try less, especially with the girls, because that's all I ever wanted. You know, I felt like it was all about just getting a girl. You know,
Just getting the girl.
yeah, mating and like.
So you would
procreating.
hug and say, don't
Yeah, don't try so hard.
fuck those hoes.
Dance more.
Dance more.
Dance more, because like, you know, like I'm a good dancer, but I was so scared to dance when I was little.
Aw.
Like if I would have danced a lot more and like freely and recklessly, I think I would have been in a different place. But anyway, you know.
But it wasn't. That's
But it wasn't.
good.
It's cool.
What piece of advice do you want to leave for our audience listening right now?
Yeah, don't try so hard.
Don't try so hard.
There's you know, the flow. Like, trust the flow. Trust yourself. You got all the tools within you. You know, speak up when you need to. Closed mouth don't get fed. Be as vulnerable as you can. Cry more. Don't suppress. Masturbate more.
But with intention and purpose to manifest.
With intention and purpose to manifest. Yeah, embrace whatever, like your feminine and masculine side.
Yes.
Infuse them both. Use them both. Yeah. Express more, whatever that is. Cooking, cleaning, singing. Do a lot more of getting stuff out of your body, out of your system, out of your heart, and free yourself in that way.
Wow. Wow. Do you hear that, everyone? I think that I needed to take notes so I can put that on my mirror and to remind myself, because that was huge. I think we could all use that. I mean, everyone could use that right now. I think you just laid out the steps of being happy in yourself, or finding happiness in your most authentic self.
Hell yeah.
David, this has been such an amazing interview. It
thank
really
you.
has.
Oh, can I do something? I have
Do whatever.
Yes. I have, Matt, can you pass me my phone, please?
Yeah, sure.
I have a lightning round question. I want to ask you some questions.
You want to ask me some questions?
Yeah. It's like,
This is going to be interesting.
Wait,
It'll be great.
film this?
I'd love to.
it's something I do because I
Stand over there.
I have a little podcast that I've been working on myself.
You have a podcast you're working on yourself?
Yeah, it's called the Be Wealthy Podcast, but it's spelled WELLTHY.
Has it started? Is it out yet, or are you just working
I
it?
have a few on Instagram.
Oh, send it to me.
Yeah, well, and one second. Where are my questions?
That's fine. I'm excited. No, you really threw me for a loop. That's what I get for the last 50 people throwing them for a loop for those last questions at the end because I don't warn them. Now you're giving me questions on my show.
All right.
So everyone listening, David at the end of my show is now, after I ask the 3 questions, is now asking me 3 questions. So I don't know.
There's a lot more than 3. They're quick. They're quick pop-ups.
All right, let's pop it up.
All right. Here we go. These are weed questions. Hold on. All right, here we go. CDs, tapes, or vinyl?
CDs, tapes, or vinyl? CDs.
Okay.
I'm the CD generation, millennial.
What element do you resonate with currently? Water, fire, air, earth, or heart? It's Captain Planet.
Right now, I'm really trying. I mean, obviously, I'm a lot of air and earth. I'm a Gemini and a rising Virgo and Virgo moon. But right now, I feel like when you just said that, I wanted to say earth, but also a little bit watery. We're in Mercury, and so I've been very sad. Mercury's in Scorpio right now, and all these sad emotions. So those 2 right now.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What is your age and your real age?
So my age is 32 and a half and my real age is 32 and a half. I only lied about it when I was younger and I would try to be older.
Okay.
Try to get all the older men.
With or without?
With.
Okay. Cupcakes or donuts?
Neither. I like the icing on a cupcake. So I would take the cupcake, but just the icing.
Okay. Pancakes or waffles?
Neither, but pancakes. I'm not a big fan.
If you could sing one song for the rest of your life, what song would it be?
Wake up, Maggie. I think I got something to say to you.
Awesome.
There you go.
What does Maggie mean? I don't know why that song came
really
into my
good?
head.
Is that Rod Stewart?
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
I don't even listen to him that much, but I love that song.
This is a good song.
It's a happy song.
Open or closed?
Open.
Okay. Say you died and you went up to and you saw the creator, and the creator was like, if there was a moment you can see, right? What moment would you like to see on like a video or like, you know what I mean? Like a screen?
I think it would be my dad died when I was 22 and we were very close. So I would say like any of our childhood together, any of our happiest memories. Maybe we'd go on vacation, the beach, any of those I would love to look down and watch at and see again.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah. So are zebras black with white stripes or white with black stripes?
White with black stripes.
Okay. What would you do with 1 minute of insane courage?
There's a lot of I would honestly jump up to wherever like wherever people are just like protesting the hate of the world on whatever. And I have this vision that then maybe you and I can do it because I can dance too, where I just like jump into the middle of like hundreds of thousands of people of just like hate right now politics. And I blast like maybe Maggie May or an amazing song and I dance and sing and get everyone.
We should do that. We should do like a flash dance.
That's it. Out of nowhere. So everyone's protesting and pissed and we just like roll in with a car and jump up and just play.
I have that vision too.
I swear to God, and play the happiest song and that's probably if I had the world for courage and didn't care, I'd probably do that.
We're gonna do that.
We're gonna do it.
Look out for that, world. And we got some more. Last movie that made you cry.
Last movie. I haven't watched a lot of movies in the last 7 months.
Okay.
But you know what I was watching where that was kind of sad the other day, that documentary with because it fascinated me a few years ago whenever he killed his wife. But she had this big social media like you and I do and talking and she's like, oh, my husband's amazing. But then he killed the wife and the kids and it's just documentary. Yeah, and you're watching literally on the police cam him just lying the whole time. And you're like, this is a plain sociopath. That saddened me.
Oh, yeah, that'll do it. Right? Let's see. If you could broadcast to every single person on Earth for 1 minute, what would you say?
I would say everything we're talking about right now, everything that you said. I would say be happy, find yourself. You're going to find happiness in being your true, authentic self. And people will align to you when you do that.
Beautiful. Yeah. Thank you.
That was fun. I'm ready to be on your podcast next. Thank you. Now, David, tell everyone where they can find you, your social media, your yoga studio, all of that.
Yes. So you can find me on Instagram at The Healing Fields with a Z. I'm also at The Healing Fields on Facebook, David Hem on Facebook, YouTube at The Healing Fields Yoga channel. Have some videos on there.
And you just want to follow David because he makes you feel good and it will make you laugh. And just like, it will also help you want to be and live your true, authentic self, because that's what he does on there.
Hell yeah. I do my best. I do my
Yes.
best. And I have a studio in Northern Liberties. Come out to that. That's at 1030 North American Street.
Thank you. Thank you, David. Thank you, everyone. This has been an amazing episode. I hope everyone has a fabulous week. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at The Hair Healer 1111, Facebook page, The Hair Healer Facebook page. If you have any questions, want to be on the show, suggestions, email me, The Hair Healer Podcast at yahoo.com. I hope everyone is doing fabulous and has a fabulous week. I love you guys. Thank you and goodbye.
And don't forget our Patreon. It's patreon.com/hairhealer.